Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, world. I'm going to read a poem this morning, by Doug Stone, called On the Sonoran Desert. You can find it in Humana Obscura. It's an online magazine, and I'll put a link in the description or somewhere out here. On the Sonoran Desert, by Doug Stone. Look at that hair. It's crazy. All right. On the Sonoran Desert. The desert glows with last moments of sun until the dying light wanders off to the west, softening seguros to silhouettes against the fast-fading blue-black sky. As night rises out of the earth, its blindness rubs away all things certain. You too become blind. Your hand reaches like a flower desperate for light. Without the privilege of sight, your fingers touch warm rocks and read the story of this place. Feel the beginning, that ancient pulse, the earth's heart alive in the stone, beating with the same rhythm as your own. On the Sonoran Desert by Doug Stone. There's so much to talk about with this poem. There's a lot going on. Some poems you can hear and everything that you need is kind of like there. With this poem, I think seeing it helps in a bunch of different ways. And one of the ways is that this poem is 4 stanzas long. The first 3 stanzas are 4 lines long, and the last stanza is 2. And so right away, that suggests a form to me, plus with some of the ways that the lines are constructed. And the last 2 lines are a rhyming couplet. And so when you see a format like that, generally a sonnet kind of comes to mind. And usually when we think of a sonnet, you think of like an Elizabethan sonnet. It's got a kind of a standard iambic pentameter and an A-B rhyming scheme. But with this poem, what Doug does is he kind of moves away from a rhyming scheme, and I don't think this is written iambic pentameter, but he is in the sonnet form, and he does end with a rhyming couplet. So this is some kind of a sonnet. I also want to talk about that first stanza. I'm going to read it again. The desert glows with the last moments of sun until the dying light wanders off to the west, softening seguros to silhouettes against the fast-fading blue-black sky. Alliteration. This is great stuff. And so here it is. Soft seguros, softening seguros to silhouettes. Seguro, I had to look it up. I don't know what seguro is. Seguro is one of those cactus you'd see like in Arizona or Westerns or whatever. And they're like those big trees with the things that stick up, look like giant trees. That's what seguro is. Softening seguros to silhouettes against the fast-fading blue-black sky. Anyway, very clever. I thought it was good. I wanted to just kind of point that out. The other thing about reading something as opposed to hearing something is that sometimes you don't get to see all the punctuation. You could hear the punctuation, but one of the pieces of punctuation in this you couldn't see. Generally speaking, when someone punctuates a poem for the reader, it helps with kind of like the breath and kind of where to pause when you're reading. And so the commas are kind of like a short pause, and the periods are longer pause. Sometimes the poems don't have any kind of punctuation at all. Then you have to kind of like make it up on your own. But in this, what Doug does is he adds a colon. He has the colon at the end of the third stanza. Without the privilege of sight, your fingers touch warm rocks and read the story of this place, comma. I'll do that again. Without the privilege of sight, comma, your fingers touch warm rocks and read the story of this place, comma. Feel the beginning, comma, that ancient pulse, colon. And then we move to the last two lines. That colon, to me, when you use a colon like that, usually you're going to be giving a list, or what you're going to be doing, what follows the colon, is something that you're emphasizing. Now, this is the last two stanzas. They're rhyming. We're already going to be emphasizing it already. But what Doug is saying is that you have to really pay attention to these last two lines. And so we will. Here they are. The earth's heart, alive in the stone, beating with the same rhythm as your own. The earth's heart. There's lots of different ways to talk about that phrase, the earth's heart. Some people would say it's kind of like a grave or death or even hell, the earth's heart. That would be like one way of looking at it, but it doesn't really fit in with what this poem is doing at all. So that's not it. Move it to the side. The third stanza, feel the beginning, that ancient pulse. So we have a pulse, and we have the earth's heart alive, or the earth's heart, comma, alive in the stone. I'm going to say what we're talking about, the earth's heart, is probably something more along the lines of the earth's essence, or something more kind of in that mode. And so when we take those two lines together, kind of like as the emphasis or elaboration of the previous stanza, the earth's heart alive in the stone, the essence of the earth in this warm stone, is probably some kind of a unifying experience of the stone and you together. So this desert experience where you can't see anymore, you can't see, is kind of unifying between the you in the poem and the rocks and earth. One thought on it, at least. Anyway, On the Sonoran Desert by Doug Stone. See you next time.